We have always strived to be a partner with the various local and nonprofit groups and schools that we try and provide grant money to. We want to provide not always all the funding they need, but help them with 50-50 match or whatever, and we think our role in the community is to be a partner with those groups.
On 2 occasions, the foundation issued grants to the Milan Police Department to equip patrol cars with an automated external defibrillator, or AEDs.
We review all the applications, have a meeting, and go through the apps, and the AED applications were pretty much a unanimous choice. Everybody saw the value of being able to provide that kind of life-saving support in a fairly small and frankly somewhat inexpensive package.
On October 8th, 2012, those partnerships with the Milan Police Department paid off.
My dispatcher dispatched me to an address on Allen Road for a reported medical problem. It came in initially as a chest pain call, and halfway there it was upgraded. Actually came in as a difficulty breathing call, and was later upgraded halfway there to a chest pain. So I know the circumstances weren't good. It was getting grave as I was getting closer.
And all of a sudden I heard this bump, and I got up and looked, and he was behind the couch laying on the floor, totally out of it. He wasn't breathing. I immediately grabbed the phone, called 911, told him what was going on. 911 operator told me to pull his head back, and that could help him breathe easier. And I was trying to blow, breath into him, and I was going, please hurry, 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 please, he's not breathing. And then police officer Burgos got there first, and he was almost to the door, and I told him, I said, he's not breathing. He went back out to the car, got the equipment, came back into the house, and immediately started working on Rick.
Upon arrival at the residence, I remember exiting my patrol unit and approaching the house, at which time I heard somebody running from within the house. I then remember the young lady running to the side door and yelling out, screaming that somebody was unconscious and somebody was not breathing in the house. I reached in my car, grabbed my AED, and proceeded up the front steps, past the young lady who was yelling. I made my way through the kitchen of the residence and looked into the living room, where then I noticed somebody laying on the floor. I could only see their feet from the room I was in. I was approaching the living room from within the kitchen. When I made contact with Rick, he was on his back. I believe his eyes were partially open, and he was discolored. His lips were discolored, his skin has begun to discolor, and I knew that he was unconscious and not breathing. I reached down and grabbed Rick and pulled him away from the sofa, and began to observe him and check him for his signs of life. I checked his pulse, at which time I didn't feel a pulse. I unsnapped my AED and attached it to Rick. And the AED monitored Rick for a minute or so, and then advised to stand back. It was going to deploy a shock. I deployed a shock to Rick, and it monitored him for another minute and advised me to start manual CPR, at which time I did. I proceeded to do manual CPR on Rick for a minute or so, at which time it asked me to stop, and it again monitored Rick and deployed a second shock to the victim who was on the floor. It again told me to continue CPR, what I did. I continued CPR for another 1 or 2 minutes, and then he came to. He responded. He gasped for air.
I remember crying praying like I've never prayed before. And I think they were there. Rick died twice at the house. And Officer Burgos brought him back twice. And then they finally got him into the ambulance, took him to St. Joe's Hospital, and he died again. And they ended up immediately putting a stent in his artery that was blocked, which was the cause of the heart attacks. And he was in a medically induced coma for 3 or 4 days, I believe. I know I sure appreciated you and the Milan Police Department calling the hospital and inquiring and seeing how he was doing. I was so amazed. I mean, I didn't expect it, but it was sure appreciated, you know.
It's something that a lot of agencies don't do very often, but we sort of strive to make sure we follow up with our cases and find out how the patients are doing after, you know, we were done at the scene. A lot of times when you're done with a situation, you go to another situation, you sort of, you know, forget about the last one, but this one, especially this one, was really special to us, and we wanted to know what the status was, and just to call up there and find out that he was in recovery, was doing well, was stable, and was going to be released soon was just amazing.
I know it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great to find that out.
Well, we also appreciate you coming by the day he came home.
That was a blessing to actually go back into the house and sit there and talk to him and give him a big hug.
Yeah, that was really great.
It was nice. It was definitely fulfilling. Definitely.
If not for the excellent training, the excellent performance, and the quick deployment of the AED by Officer Burgos in this incident, this individual may have lost his life. But instead, his life was saved, he's healthy, he's with his family, and things came out very well. And again, I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge and reinforce the exceptional performance by Officer Burgos, as well as, again, thank the Community Foundation for the donations that have allowed us to equip our officers with these life-saving devices in our community.